sorry.
You okay?
I got a little bit of whiplash from this movie.
We just saw Hardcore Henry.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
It was a lot of fun.
It was great. They
Yeah.
move into camera a little bit.
Yes.
I think this might be a short video.
Yes, it's going to be a very short video because
damn.
there's not, it's a lot of style, very little substance, but honestly, it doesn't hurt this movie.
It works. It works a lot.
It's exactly what it's supposed to be.
I guess we can start by talking about that intro.
Yep, exactly.
the slow motion murder intro.
Yeah, the slow motion murder fest. Which is
set
great.
to some song. I gotta look up what song that was.
Yeah, I forgot what it was myself.
But yeah, it was a slow motion sequence of guys getting stabbed and shot and just punched.
The title's written on a bat that gets smashed in somebody's face.
Yeah, and it's cool because the camera stayed with the bat.
Yeah, exactly.
So it looked like a guy was running into the bat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was great.
Alright, so if you've ever played any first-person shooter or first-person, like, weird science-y game like Half-Life or Portal, you pretty much know how... Yeah, Mirror's Edge, heavily influenced by Mirror's Edge, obviously.
Yeah, take all that shit, put it into a blender, and you have this movie.
Yeah, this movie is proof that video game mechanics can work in a movie.
Yes.
If done right. I mean, this isn't based on anything, as far as I know. I mean,
no,
obviously inspired by all these other things, you know, like it's Mirror's Edge, Half-Life, maybe a little bit of Portal, maybe a little bit of Metal Gear Solid,
Just Cause.
A little bit, yeah. So, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what it is Henry is... You've seen the trailer. Henry's being put together by this... So, spoilers, by the way. We're probably going to get into some spoilers.
Oh, yes, we are. Not that there are many.
Yeah, there is one big spoiler, but honestly, we should have seen it coming.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So Henry's being put... He's a super soldier as part of an experiment. He's half man, half machine. And then the evil corporation...
Aiken,
aka the evil corporation...
Yes.
Busts into the lab... And then the villain, who is a total cartoon, by the way.
Oh, far and away.
You know what I was thinking?
The dude kind of looks like Edgar Winter. But anyway.
You know who I was thinking the whole time, every time he showed up, he was the character that Jesse Eisenberg was playing in Batman vs. Superman.
Oh God, you're right.
He was the character.
He was. Oh.
That's who he was. It wasn't Lex Luthor. It was whatever weird, like long-haired, eccentric,
albino,
crazy, evil guy. That's who he was.
And he has psychic telekinetic powers, so he like just force pushes people who get close to him.
That's why I said this may borrow some from Metal Gear, because he was like Psycho Mantis.
Yeah.
Except there was no memory card to read.
Yeah. Maybe, like I was telling him, maybe when they put on Netflix, he'll go through your whole Netflix history. He'll just look in the camera, break the fourth wall, and be like, "You've been watching too much My Little Pony lately."
That'd be a great Easter egg.
Yeah, right?
I see you've seen Pee-wee's Big Holiday.
Exactly.
How quaint. How does he not age?
I don't know.
So anyway, they break in, and apparently the lab was in a blimp or a spaceship or something.
Zeppelin.
Yeah, the Zeppelin fortress or whatever.
Yes.
So they escape, and then they go after him on the ground, and then he gets rescued by the best character in the movie.
Oh yes,
Jimmy, who, by the way,
in all his different incarnations.
Yeah. So Jimmy saves him from the guys, the mooks, and then he gets shot in the head. Yeah. And then Henry's running off, and then we see him again dressed as a bum on a bus.
Yes, speaking in Russian and very inebriated.
At first I was like, what the fuck just happened? And then it started to, obviously he's not a regular guy. He's some kind of clone, or I thought he was like another robot like Henry was or something. Yeah. But yeah, he was the scientist guy who... It was surprising, too, because the first time we meet him, that's the guy from the trailer. Yeah. And I honestly thought that, like, we were going to follow him, and then he got shot in the head. I was like, oh, well, that character didn't last very long. Yeah. But yeah, he turns out he's a scientist who got crippled working on the super soldier experiment for
Aiken.
For Aiken. And so he made, like, bio clones of himself, and they're all different, like, personalities.
Yeah, one of them I swear is based on the Brigadier from Doctor Who, but
one of them's like a punk One's a
Yeah.
nerd. One's a sex fiend.
Yes.
That was the best part.
Yeah, the cokehead
It's
one.
because there was a scene where he had to meet him in a brothel.
Yes.
And then the Aiken
That
guys
was great.
showed up, and he grabs guns. He's like, "I'll hold them off for you, mate." And then he snorts cocaine and runs out
Yeah,
there.
it's the best.
The first thing I thought of was Snowflame feels no pain.
Yeah, exactly.
He had the big hair too. It was
Yeah,
great.
it was great.
So anyway, where were we, man? So there's basically it's just Henry going to different video game levels and
essentially,
doing stuff.
yeah, the laboratory at the beginning is the tutorial level, then
Yeah.
there's a chase, there's one escort mission where he has to save Jimmy's actual body
yeah,
from like
'Cause-
all of Aiken's like Russian mercenary
because
thugs.
he controls the clones mentally, and he has this helmet, and when he like goes to sleep when he's doing that,
Yeah.
I guess he enters the consciousness of one of his clones. So there's a scene where they're storming his lab, and they put his body on a wheelchair in this elevator that's slowly going down.
Yeah,
and
and
he's like, don't let him fall below you.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's such an escort mission.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
it's good because you don't have the, you don't, since you're not playing it yourself, you don't fail, so it's not like you have to look
Yeah.
at, you blew it, Jimmy is dead, reloading, all that stuff.
try again.
Try again. God damn it.
So there was a scene where he had to go after some other cyborg guy because he needed his heart.
Yeah, the Slick Dimitri was
Yeah.
the guy's name.
Yeah, I guess it was like a battery pack he had to pick up because these batteries
it was
were
like a
running low.
booster
Yeah.
something.
So that was like the mid boss.
Yeah.
And then he eventually they eventually get to the corporation, the Aiken building, and they finally face off with Psycho Mantis Eisenberg. It's like Jesse
Yeah, and,
Mantis or whatever his name
Yeah, and they
is.
find out that he basically, everything that he experienced, Henry, up to this point, he uploaded it into the other super soldiers that he's making, which are
Yeah.
essentially, if you've ever seen Universal Soldier, it's the same thing. They're corpses that he reanimated and fitted with, like, cybernetic limbs and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a whole army of them, and they're all stronger than he is.
Yeah, they're all, like, jacked up super zombies.
So he kills one, and he steals his thingy, and then he puts it into himself.
Yeah, and he gets supercharged.
And then he just fucking goes to town on this army of guys, and it's just this movie was more violent than Deadpool.
Yeah, it really was.
Deadpool, your sequel's gonna have a bigger budget. Do not be outdone by this movie.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they actually played Mr. Fahrenheit.
Yeah, they actually played Don't Stop Me Now by Queen.
Yeah, Don't Stop Me Now, which was in the trailer. I didn't think they'd actually do that.
Neither did I. I didn't think they'd actually use it.
It was great because he was fighting all the clones on the roof.
Yeah, just
And-
beating the shit
and-
out of them
and
and
just-
grinding their faces into paste and
Yeah.
shoving them into like vent fans and grinding
Shooting
them up.
them. He blew up a box of grenades.
Yeah,
And then this med pack fell next to him with 2 syringes of adrenaline. And that's when the song started. He just
injects them into his thighs and just goes the fuck to town.
oh, so good.
Yeah, it was. It was amazing.
Yeah. That's pretty much the movie. I was worried about the first person perspective view.
Yeah, this is not a movie. If you like really get motion sickness really easily, I would not recommend it.
You said that it's not doing well on not IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, on Rotten Tomatoes it dropped 10 points. It was
Yeah.
at 61 and then it dropped to 51.
Yeah, I'd imagine those people were not. They might have been sensitive to shaky cam and stuff like that. And
Who knows?
it's understandable. That's a grievance I can understand.
I mean, honestly, this movie is a mindless popcorn flick at its
Yeah.
very core. There's nothing cerebral about it at
It's
all.
action for the sake of action.
Yes.
And that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, it did its job extremely well.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just it needs to be engaging, and the movie was very
Yeah,
engaging.
the movie held my
Yeah.
attention all the way through.
Yes.
Even when Jimmy was expositing at certain points, it still held my
Yeah.
attention.
I loved hippie Jimmy. There was a hippie version.
Yeah, hippie Jimmy.
There were a couple of characters that I felt got thrown away too
Yuri.
quickly. Yeah, the Russian.
Yeah, the mercenary leader, Yuri.
Yeah, because they meet him when they hit the ground,
Yeah.
and I thought he was gonna be like. In Indiana Jones, they have a character called the Muscle. Who's
Yeah.
the guy that Indiana Jones fights.
Fights in the
That,
plane, yeah.
he fight like the big guy from Temple of Doom. There was the Russian guy from Crystal Skull.
Yes.
I thought that's who he was gonna be. He was gonna be like the guy before he gets to.
Yeah, he was gonna be the dragon essentially
Yeah.
in the movie before he gets to Aiken's big bad.
Yeah.
But,
But he kind of got snuffed off a little unceremoniously.
oh, extremely unceremoniously. Basically, Jimmy caved in his lab on top of his head
Yeah. And then there
as
was.
they were leaving.
And then when they were raiding the brothel, these two other girls showed up. One had a katana, one had a gun.
Yeah.
And I think they were like Jimmy's assistants or the contacts.
No, I think they worked in the brothel and they were pissed at Jimmy because they thought he was the one that instigated the whole massacre.
Okay. Because they joined them in the motorcycle chase when they were chasing down all the vans.
Yeah.
One of them kind of disappeared though.
She got run over.
Oh,
when
she
the
did?
when the van rammed the bike, yeah, she did not
Okay,
make it.
yeah, I might have missed that.
Yeah.
Because the other one, Katana Chick, was with Jimmy, and then she got shot.
Shrapnel.
Yeah. Oh yeah, shrapnel.
Yep.
Yeah, there were a lot of like good setups for other characters, but unfortunately.
Yeah, the only thing I was kind of disappointed in was I thought this entire movie was going to be a oneer, but there was no way they could have made that happen. So like, Henry would frequently black out and the scenes would change and stuff like that. But I thought it was all going to be one continuous take.
Yeah. No, there were times when they clearly had cuts. Like he would like jump through a window and then he'd end up in a room.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I like the I did like the first person perspective thing. It didn't bother me. I kind of wish we did D-Box for this.
So did I.
We never do D-Box.
This is the one movie where it actually made
it would have been
sense.
Yeah, it would have been fun. Maybe 3D IMAX would work well for this.
Yeah, probably.
This is one of those movies. It's probably going to be a little bit more underwhelming if you watch it on TV or Netflix or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem with a lot of movies.
Yeah,
like
this
that.
movie's definitely a theater experience.
Yeah.
You have to go watch it in the theater.
Yeah, but it was quite an experience.
Oh, indeed it was. It was a solid hour and a half.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot the pyro guy.
Oh, the flamethrower dude with the diamond sequined armor.
It's funny because they were on the bus and Bum Jimmy was like, he looked out. He's like, "That's the gayest jacket I've ever seen." And he leaned out the window and goes, "Where'd you get that jacket?" And then
he gets a face full of fire for his trouble.
Yeah. So much for Jimmy A. Bum.
Yeah, right. Oh my God, this is the greatest flamethrower I've ever seen in my life.
A lot of nonstop. That's why we didn't really have a whole lot to say about this.
Should we talk about the twist?
Okay, yeah, I guess that's the last thing.
Spoilers, by the way.
Again, spoilers. So the whole movie, and it seemed like from the trailer, this is what the whole thing is going to be.
Yeah.
Aiken kidnaps the girl. What was her name?
Estelle.
Estelle. Yeah, the girl who fixed up Henry and said we were married together and
I was your wife.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
And then he kidnaps her, and we thought this was going to be typical video game plot, rescue the girl.
Yeah, but she pulls a Sharon Stone from Total Recall. Turns out, she's Aiken's squeeze toy.
Yeah, she was his
she's
wife.
Been playing Henry the entire time.
Yeah, so it was good misdirection because and we should have seen it coming, like I said, because the scene where they found her in the truck.
Yeah, and then she changed outfits.
Yeah, she was wearing this black dress, and she was in like this Hannibal Lecter cell with glass, and it was just too good of a setup. I'm like, and now that I think back, he clearly set this up because
he did.
He's Aiken's such a eccentric, evil showman that this makes total sense that he would do that.
Yep.
So I do like how the movie ended because
he kicked, that was perfect.
He kicked the shit out of Aiken, who, by the way, went full Psycho Mantis. Yeah. Because he had psychic powers. He had, like, telekinesis.
Yeah, but the problem is if he uses too much of it at one time, like, his eyes and his nose start to bleed.
Yeah,
it's definitely a strain on his...
But then he went full telekinesis, and all the bodies of all the other soldiers were flying around, and they created a staircase.
Platform.
Now this is
Aiken.
Now this is a platformer.
Yes.
And so he platformed right up to him, and then just he took his hand and he like
split it apart and then like slice the top of his head off.
He pulled his eyeball out
and strangled him with.
Wrapped the cord around his head.
Yeah.
All the wires and everything, and just cut the top of his head off. And then he went into the helicopter where she was, and she's like, "Where's Aiken?" And she shows him the head. And then she was like, "This could have been great!" And then she started shooting him and everything. And then he punched her or something, or...
no, she shot him and something, it reflected
off
something.
He held his hand up.
Yeah.
And the bullet went back at her, and then she fell out the helicopter, and she was holding on, and she was like, "Henry, help me! Listen to your heart!"
And he just slams
the door, and
cuts her fingers off. Yep.
Good.
End of movie.
That's where the movie ended.
Yeah. Roll credits, we're done.
That's all we needed.
Yep.
Damn, that was awesome.
That was a fun movie.
Yeah. We were wondering if this was like based off of a video game or something. I think you said
it isn't based off of anything.
Yeah,
as far as I
you
know.
think when we first heard about this movie, you were like, this might be a spin-off of Serious Sam.
Yeah, or something like that.
Hardcore Henry, Serious Sam.
Alliteration.
I guess maybe that's where the title came from.
Yeah, who knows?
So, clearly, heavily inspired by the gaming world.
Name anything. Even Call of Duty. It's
Call of
in
Duty,
there.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't have been surprised if he... I was going to say, I wouldn't be surprised if he rode a dinosaur. But there was the scene... the whole time he had a cell phone, and Jimmy kept giving him GPS coordinates where he had to go to next. And there was a scene where he was in the middle of a field. He's like, "Here's where you got to go." And there was a horse there.
Yeah, the horse. I forgot about the horse.
We were thinking he was going to ride the horse, and it was setting up really good. He was like, okay, calm down. By the way, this might be from Legend of Zelda.
Yeah,
the horse. So he's like, okay. And so he gets on the horse, and then like
the horse immediately knocks him off.
What's that cowboy thing? Dun dun dun.
Yeah, I don't.
They play that,
playing.
and then the horse kicks him off, and he falls on the floor, and then the music stopped.
The horse just runs away, and apparently Henry had no carrots with which to.
He didn't have the ocarina to tame the horse.
To tame Epona, yeah, exactly. So he had to head to Ganon's castle on foot.
Yeah, Hyrule Field is a bitch to get through,
especially at night.
Yeah.
But anyway. I got nothing else.
Yeah, I think we went through just about everything in this movie. So
it was short. It was a dumb action flick, but it was entertaining.
It was a refreshing break from all the long-ass movies we'd had to watch.
The pretentious bullshit that was Batman vs. Superman.
I don't...
Zack Snyder just for 2.5 hours going, "Ask me what it means."
I don't want to get into that again. We just had an argument last night with someone about that movie.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I don't want to go into that. No more.
Do I.
It's done. It's done. Let's hope Suicide Squad's better.
Yeah, let's hope.
All right. So Hardcore Henry was awesome.
Yeah.
Go check it out, and that's it. I'm gonna go beat up some guys because this movie was very impressionable. Maybe you want to go fight some.
I'll grab the baseball bat.
Yeah. All right. I'll go get the guns.
Yeah.